thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. My name is Gutchess, and I'm coming to you from upstate New York. Today we're going to be making a shallow poached salmon with a caper and herb vinaigrette. So let's jump right in. I've got a salmon fillet here, and tips to buying salmon, you want to look for a nice bright color. The scale should be shiny and it should be cleaned when you buy it in the supermarket. And the most important thing is the scent. So it should never smell fishy, only sweet, pretty much like the ocean. So those are some tips on selecting salmon. Now, you could just buy, for this recipe, already portioned fillets, and that would be fine if you're in a hurry, but this is definitely an easy way to do it, and I'll show you how to skin the salmon. So this is boneless, but if you do have bones, or I'm just going to check just to make sure, just invert a bowl, and then we're going to place the salmon fillet on here, and this just helps elevate it so you're not crunched over the piece of fish. So just with a piece of tweezers, run your fingers along just to see any bones, and if you do find a bone, just pull towards the head side of the fish, and that'll prevent tearing of the flesh if you pull toward the opposite. This looks pretty good, so I'm just going to put this aside, and then we're going to skin it. So when you skin a fillet like this, the most important thing is you want to get as much fish off the salmon as possible. So I'm going to move my board to the edge of my cutting board, and this is just going to help me stabilize it. And then with a flexible serrated knife here, I'm just going to make one cut towards myself, just like this, a shallow cut into it. And then I'm going to pull back on this and reverse it. And I'm just going to do this, pressing up against the fish. Here we go. And so now that I have a little wiggle room right here, I'm going to put this down. And here's a trick I learned in culinary school. We're just going to make a little hole into the skin itself with a sharp paring knife here. There we go, got it through. And then I'm going to hold, using my opposite hand, I'm just going to anchor that skin so I have control here. And then I'm going to get my knife back in here. Here we go. And I'm just going to slide the skin, or the flesh, excuse me, right through here. So here we go. So this is the safest way to do this, because then, you know, you're not cutting towards yourself. We're just cutting away, and just, you know, my hand has grip right here. It's cutting right through. Okay. And there we go. Okay. So then I just have the skin right here, and you can save this. You could bake it off, crispy, whatever. Just gonna put this right here for now. And so now I have a nice piece of salmon fillet that we're gonna poach. So I'm just gonna portion this. I'm just gonna trim it up a little bit here. Here we go. Okay. We're just gonna do 4 portions today. So I'm just gonna do about a 4-ounce portion, which is about the size of your palm right there, or a deck of cards. So here we go. That looks about good. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this skinny end piece, you really don't want to poach it because this is a lot thinner than this piece, so you want your pieces to all pretty much be the same size, but definitely going to save this, and you know, you can chop this up, grind this up, make a seafood salad with it, whatever you want. So here we go, here's our 4 portions, and I'm going to give my hands a quick wash here. And then we're just going to season the fish lightly with salt. And I'm only doing salt because the black specks of pepper sometimes can make it look a little dirty, but if you're fine with it, that's totally okay. Or you could just use white pepper. So salting the fish right now is going to draw some moisture out of the flesh of the fish, and it's just going to help us speed along the poaching process. So I'm just going to set this over here while I get the liquid for the poaching ready. Grab my pan too. So today we're going to be shallow poaching this salmon, and poaching is a moist heat cooking method that relies on steam from the top and simmering liquid from the bottom. So that's that's shallow poaching. You could also deep poach is when the fish is completely submerged in liquid, but today we're going to shallow poach. So I'm going to start with a shallot, and I'm just going to ends off. Just need a couple tablespoons here of shallot. So this is going to have shallot, lemon, tarragon, and parsley as the flavoring agents for the poaching liquid. just gonna tuck my fingers under here, and I'm just gonna go through the shallot 2 times, and then score it lengthwise. And this is gonna produce a minced cut. Just gonna do this on both sides here. Okay. There we go, and then I'm gonna switch to my big knife and just chop them up. This is a great dish. It's really fast. Takes about 10 to 15 minutes to poach the salmon, so it's something you can make really fast in a weeknight. And it's pretty healthy too, because we're just going to poach it and then make a sauce out of the poaching liquid. So it's very fast and easy. The next ingredient is a lemon. So I'm just going to cut this lemon into about 1/4 inch slices here. And this is going to line the bottom of our pan here and elevate the fish, but also all the lemon flavor is going to really infuse into the fish and into the sauce. Here we go. So I'm going to layer the lemon slices right in the bottom. This is a 12-inch skillet, so this is perfect for this dish. So there we go. And I'm going to sprinkle the top with the chopped shallots, just like that. Go. Okay. The next ingredient is stems of tarragon and parsley, and we're going to use the leaves later in the sauce, but the stems really have a lot of flavor in them, so what I'm just going to do is hold the top. This is tarragon. It's really innocent flavor, like familiar to fennel, and it really goes well with seafood. So just going to pull it back, and all the leaves will come off very easily. Here we go. So we're going to save the leaves for the sauce later, and for the fish, or for the poaching, excuse me, we're going to just put it right in the pan. Same thing with parsley. Parsley's a little different. We're just going to pick the leaves right from the stem here. There we go. I have a couple extra I did already. When we were in culinary school, our first block was cooking fundamentals, so we spent a couple weeks doing stocks and broths and fumés, and we would get our sachets ready with the herbs and everything, and we got all of a sudden get called over our whole class. Okay, so this is ready, so I'm gonna move over here while I'm still talking. So our whole class gets called over, and the chef is holding the compost bin full of parsley stems that we had all discarded, and he's like, "Who did this?" And we were all just like, "Oh my gosh, we thought this was garbage." But there's a lot of flavor in these stems, so definitely hold on to it. So now I'm just gonna lay the fish right over the lemon slices here. Just like that. Just get them all in the pan like that. And then I have a 1/2 cup of dry white wine and a 1/2 cup of water in here. Now you could use anything that you like to drink. I've got a Sauvignon Blanc here, which goes well with seafood, but you could use a Pinot Grigio or an unoaked Chardonnay. That would be great too. Just gonna move this over here. So this is the poaching liquid. So if you can see, the liquid for shallow poaching should be a 1/2 to a 1/3 away up the fish. So it shouldn't be completely submerged at all. This is perfect. And the size of the pan is appropriate for this amount of fish. This is really great. So now that everything's in there, I'm going to turn the heat on. There we go. It's important to bring up the heat together, the fish and the liquid both at the same time, instead of preheating the liquid and then putting in the fish, because it'll be too hot and fall apart. So this is a very simple dish, but controlling the heat is the most important part. I have a thermometer, and you can definitely use that, but with this such little amount of liquid in here, it is really difficult to monitor the temperature. So I'm just going to use visual cues. The poaching liquid that you want for this poaching should be about 160 to 185, and 185 is when simmering starts. So if you see bubbles, it's too hot and the fish will cook too fast. So here we go. So I'm just going to watch this, and you can just feel the water. Your body temperature is 98, so if it feels warm to me, we're above 100, so that's good. Obviously, if it's bubbling, don't touch it, but it's important to know what you're looking for. So I see some small bubbles here, and we're doing good. So as soon as I see little bubbles rise to the surface, I'm going to turn it down and put the lid on. Okay, so the cooking liquid, I see a little break of bubbles on the surface, so I know my temperature is pretty good. So what I'm going to do is just cover a jar. I'm going to leave it slightly off so that the top of the fish can steam while the bottom poaches. Hi guys, so we're back, and it's been about 8 minutes or so, so I'm going to check my fish, and I'm pretty sure we're there. Just visually looking at it, the bottom is set, the top is opaque, and when I press it, I get a little resistance, which is good. So I'm going to temp it just because we're going for 125. So that'll be like a medium salmon. But like I said before, you could cook it. Good, we're there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is remove the salmon onto a paper towel lined plate to rest it. Here we go. I'm going to remove the lemon slices as well. And as you can see, this is nicely cooked, tender still. It looks moist. There we go. So I'm just going to remove the salmon. So one thing that differentiates shallow poached salmon from deep poached salmon is that you always use the cooking liquid in shallow poaching to make the sauce. So this has all those flavors of the lemon, tarragon, parsley, shallots, and all the fish. So we're going to use that and reduce it down and use that as the base of our sauce. So right over here, I'm just going to put the fish, pen it with a little foil to keep it warm while we make the sauce. I'm going to turn the heat up to high, and I'm just going to reduce this cooking liquid down for about 4 to 5 minutes until it's thick and concentrated in flavor. So there we go. I'm just going to leave that alone, and we're going to jump back here to make the vinaigrette part of the caper and herb vinaigrette. So earlier when we were prepping the aromatics for the poaching liquid, I chopped up 2 tablespoons of shallots. I've got 2 tablespoons of minced tarragon as well as parsley. And then we also have 2 tablespoons of capers that I drained, rinsed, and then coarsely chopped. And capers are just a small berry. They're brine, so they're pretty salty. So rinse them first before you use them. Here we go. Just going to get these ingredients right into here. And then to this, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of honey. And then 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And this is going to be the vinaigrette. So what's going to happen is we're going to reduce the cooking liquid and then strain it into here. And that's going to make the vinaigrette sauce for the poached salmon. There we go. Just going to mix it together. Season it with a little salt. Give it a taste. Sweet from the honey, nice and salty. The tarragon and lemon come through. Very good. Here we go. Move this back here. So now we're just going to wait for the liquid to be ready, and then we're going to put it together. Okay, so it's been a couple minutes, and as you can see, my cooking liquid has significantly decreased, which is great. So all the flavors concentrated. So at this point, I'm going to strain it into my herb and caper mixture here that I already made. But variations of this, once you guys get the method down, you can really switch it up to whatever you like or whatever you happen to have on hand. At this point, you could swirl in some butter and just make a beurre blanc sauce to go with the fish. You can change up the herbs, you know, instead of tarragon, try dill, do whatever you want. Really, it's so simple. So here we go. I'm just going to pour this right in. Just like that. And then I'm just going to push out against the shallots here, and that'll just release any residual sweetness that they have here. And like I said, this is just such a simple dish you can make. Growing up in New York, like my mom used to take us berry picking, so she would always make salmon with a strawberry sauce, which was delicious. So, you know, you can throw some strawberries in the reduction, really make it your own. There we go. So I'm just going to pop this to the sink. And here is the vinaigrette. I'm just going to give that a stir. And now it's ready to plate. So, okay, so we're back and we're just finishing up the shallow poached salmon with the caper herb vinaigrette. Here's our vinaigrette. I took 1 piece of salmon out, and I'm just going to blot it dry here. And now I'm just going to spoon over some of our delicious caper vinaigrette with the tarragon, parsley, olive oil, and honey. Perfect. Oh, yum, that looks so good. Okay, here we go. Save the rest for the other fish. And this is just so great. You can serve it with a light salad, bread, you know, pasta, rice. I'm gonna give it a try here. So, right in the salmon. If you can see there, we got a nice medium rare, nice and moist, no dry salmon here. I'm gonna go in for a bite here. Very good, if I do say so myself. Really salty from the capers, sweet from the honey. The salmon is nice and moist and tender. I think this is a great dish and something you can definitely replicate at home very easily. So keys today, we did shallow poached salmon. Just choose the right size pan. You don't want it too big, otherwise you won't have too much, or you won't have enough liquid. Salmon, definitely make sure they're all the same size. The liquid should be about 1/3 to 1/2 of the way up the salmon for proper temperature, and just control the heat. You know, you want a little bubble, but not boiling for sure. That's it, and hope to see you guys again soon. My name is Gutchess, and thanks for joining me.